21 years ago, I'm riding in my car, because I had done everything else I could do. I had gotten to a point where I just literally gave up trying to change my life. It wasn't working. And it just made me frustrated to try and change my life. It's like something else had control of me. And I couldn't do the things I wanted to do, the right things. And so I'm riding in the car, and I heard a Jewish preacher say, when you pray, be still and know God. Just sit down quietly and do nothing. And he said that you have to overcome your anger. I'd never heard this man before. No one had ever told me about him. I'd never heard him on the radio except this one time. And so I went home that night after work. At that time, I had my janitorial service. I was running my own business, so I stopped by his office. He had a prayer CD, a little cassette tape. So I bought it. I went home, not knowing what to expect, but I really wanted to get over myself. And I sat down, and the first time I sat down to pray, right away, I could see in a way I'd never seen before. It's like someone took a veil off my eyes or something. But I didn't really see it with my physical eyes. It was like revealed to me. And I didn't even know that existed. I had no idea that it existed. I had not heard about it. Maybe I heard someone preach about it, but I didn't know anyone who was living that way, or I had not heard about it growing up, that there was another way of seeing. But right away, he allowed me to see. And the first thing I saw, that I had this anger toward my parents. I resented my mother because she resented my father and tried to keep me away from him. And I felt so badly about that. I started to cry. I felt so sad about hating my parents because I realized it was wrong to hate them. And also I knew in that moment that the hatred had held me back in life, that it was holding me back. I couldn't see how to live my life. And so I went to my mother and apologized because God said, when you forgive others, he'll forgive you. But I still didn't know the magic that would happen once you forgave them. So I went, and it was the hardest thing I ever had to do. And I was about 38 or so, I think. So I went to my mother, and I said to her, all my life I've hated you because you tried to turn me away from my father. You were impatient with me. And I realize now that I'm wrong for that. I'm sorry for hating you. And then my mother started crying because she said she didn't realize what she had done to me. And for the first time, she told me about her mother, and exactly what she did to me, her mother had done it to her. And it just goes on and on. But in that very moment, God gave me perfect peace. Really, I had no more conflict, no more doubts, no more worries, no more insecurities, no more nothing. It was like it was all gone. It was just, it's there no more. And 21 years have gone by, and I still haven't. I mean, I'm better for it now because I've gone through more in the last 20 years since waking up than I had gone through prior. But I absolutely have perfect peace. And anyone tells you that you can know God and yet not have peace is lying to you. Do not fall for that lie. Because just think about it. If I'm a child of the devil and he's making me miserable by giving me fear and doubt and worry and insecurity, and then someone tell me, well, there's another God you can serve and he's a better God. So, but yet I go to this other God and he's still causing me pain. Why would I want to switch gods? You know what I'm saying? It's like going from one relationship to another one, and things are still bad. But why would I want to go to a God or be a part of another God who created me, gave me life, but yet he's going to make me miserable? Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. But but a lot of Christians have accepted that you can serve the greater God, but don't expect to have a perfect life. Don't expect to have perfect peace. You got to wait for that. So if that's the case, I might as well wait until I die and hope that he'll give it to me after death. Why even bother trying to find another God? That is, I think, the worst trick that the devil has played on the Christian community, that you cannot have peace once you're born of God. that we're still human, we're still this and that. That's a lie. Christ came so that we could have peace. But so after starting Bond, I realized, wow, my problems have always been with myself and with my parents, because that's where the hatred started. And once I forgave them, God forgave me, and my life took off just like that. And it looked, now I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, but it looks as though God has locked me into this thing, and I'm protected from anger. I'm protected from hating my enemies or hating anyone. And it won't let me. It just like I was controlled by the other God, I'm absolutely controlled by the God that brings peace. And long story short, and I'll take some questions. When I first started out, I had never done a meeting before or anything. My English was bad, worse than what it is now. And because I have a cleft palate and a hair lip, I could barely speak clearly at all. And I remember someone telling me, how do you think you're going to run a meeting and you can't speak well and you don't know English? I'm like, I have no idea. I didn't know either. I used to hear myself on the tapes, and I would cringe. I sounded so bad. But I couldn't help myself. I kept going back and just doing it anyway. And I've been called every name in the book for it. I mean, I've been banned from radio stations, just all kind of stuff. I had no plan of how to run Bond. I remember my first board of directors that were with me, many of them got upset because we used to have these meetings, and they were like educated men, lawyers and stuff like that. And they were like, well, what is your 5-year plan? Honestly. And I used to say, I have no idea. I couldn't even think of a plan. I had no plan, and they quit on me because I had no plan. They were like, when you go out there in the media, they're going to ask you for a plan. I have no plan. When I started Bond, I didn't wake up one day and decide, let me go start an organization. I just wanted to tell black people they needed to stop hating. It's not the white man, it's the lack of love in the family. And one thing just led to another one. I had no plan. 20 years have gone by, and I still have no plan. It's amazing how that is. I've taken one step at a time, and opportunities are just there. I can see my opportunities as they come. And I say all that to tell you that God doesn't want you to have a plan. All he asks of us is that we seek first the kingdom of God, his right way, and he will add everything unto us. Because if you put your plan before him, that becomes your God. And whatever is your plan, control you. I really have not had a plan. And yet we're known nationally. I have some of the greatest people in my life that I could possibly. Had I had a plan, I probably wouldn't have those people in my life who have helped me along the way. I mean, it's just been amazing. And I do want, and then I'll take some hands. I do want you to know, for me to tell you this, anybody can know it, right? That inside of us is another reality. It's another way of living. It's the kingdom of heaven inside. And life is supposed to come out of us. And we're supposed to live from that way. It's abnormal to live from the outside in. As Moses said to the people, be still and know God. That's what you got to come to. It's within yourself, within your spirit, there's a quiet place. And you got to learn to live from that. I invite you to get a copy of my Be Still and Know CD. It shows you how to pray. You can have the CD for nothing. We'll just charge for the shipping and handling. All right? Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. And thank you guys.
For more information or to purchase a copy of this show, visit us on the web at www.bondinfo.org or call 1-800-411-BOND.